Hello. Welcome to the Assembly Rooms 2021 and our American Intent Revue show. We are bringing voice to the spoken word at the Edinburgh Fringe, the art of the possible, presenting a rich variety of performances. And now, enjoy the show.
I am what I am. I am my own special creation.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Anchel, and I'm here to talk to you about my new show, Getting Ready with Bear Princess. The show is autobiographical, and it's basically me sitting at my vanity getting ready for a night out on the town. I invite you all into my fantastical world where I talk about my life, music, art, and all the things that make me, me. One thing that's always been incredibly important to me is being true to myself. And unfortunately, in a lot of instances, being true to myself only made my life a little more difficult and complicated. But what I want to show you all is that self-discovery and being true to yourself is what makes life worth living. Now, a little preview of my show, Getting Ready with Bear Princess. I love makeup. I remember the first time I put on some eyeliner. Well, it wasn't me. It was a friend of mine in high school. Her name was Lana, and she was a very pretty, very cool girl. And she said, "You look so good with eyeliner on." And I said, "What? Who? Me?" She whipped out her eyeliner pencil and lined my brown almond eyes with that black kohl pencil right in the hallway of my school. I ran to the bathroom mirror and I saw myself and thought, wow, there I am. I look pretty. It made me so happy. It still does. I get to wake up and have all these magic potions at my disposal, and I get to choose what my face looks like that day. Am I going to have a subtle glow that makes people wonder, is that 6'3", 300-pound man wearing makeup, or is he just gorgeous? Or am I going to do something dramatic, sculpt my cheekbones with contour powder, carefully apply glitter to my fluttering eyelids, and glue on a curly feathered lash that makes my eyes pop? Who knows? It's my choice. It's fun. It's creative. It's expressive. It's art. People have always given me such a hard time about my makeup. Sometimes they still do. When I was younger, everyone was so worried about what people would think of me. Remember in the movie Carrie? Carrie's mother shrieks, "They're all gonna laugh at you!" I mean, she was right. They did. But boy, did Carrie show those kids. Not that I condone murder, but there's something to admire there. And even though I haven't burned down a high school gym with my psychic powers, I think refusing to be anything but myself is almost as impressive. Did you know that I'm the only Matthew Anchel in the world? Isn't that crazy? Hi, it's me, Matthew Anchel, just an Upper West Side Jew born and raised in Manhattan. Oh, and I'm gay, just in case you didn't notice. Did you notice? Don't worry, most people do, and the reactions vary, although lately I feel like they've become a little more positive. That's a nice change. Oh, also I'm fat. That's definitely not hard to miss, but more on that later. So that was just a little slice, a little snippet, a little moment from my show, Getting Ready with Bear Princess. The last thing I want to talk about is, why Bear Princess? Who is Bear Princess? Well, I'm Bear Princess. For those of you who are unaware, a bear is a type of guy within the gay community. Usually he's tall, not thin, hairy, maybe has a beard, just like me. And when I was younger, I knew I was gay, but I didn't quite see where I fit into the community until I saw bears. I was like, oh, there I am, I'm a bear. Quality of a bear is that they're very masculine and very gruff, and they have deep voices, and they're hairy, and they're, and that is not me at all. So I took this idea of being a gay bear, and I thought, well, I am a bear physically, but inside, I'm a princess. And thus, Bear Princess was born. And it's been so helpful for me to sort of have an identifier as I kind of figure out who I am and where I fit in this crazy world that we live in. So that's me, Bear Princess. So come get ready with me. You'll have a lot of fun.
Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to nowhere. And the thing is, nowhere is somewhere to somebody. I know what you're thinking. Why would anyone want to live here? You know those signs on the freeways pointing to empty buildings saying, if you lived here, you'd be home now. I'm home. This is where L-Boys exist. This is where you find us if you need us. Our color, you know? Our cotton skin? Gray. Just like where we are. And I'm...
Shortstop.
What's up, G?
Check it.
Who we got here? What you think you wearing, girl?
I'm not a girl.
You're wearing white. That ain't right. Not here.
Don't touch me, pig.
Go off, sis.
Actually, I'm non-cis, head ass.
Go off, girl.
Sarah, don't listen to him.
So, Sarah, you think I'm a pig. That ain't nice.
Sometimes I hate you, Gwen.
Sometimes people can't always get everything right.
Stop it, Gwen.
Who this?
My brother.
So you saying she and he, they your brothers? You sure? What's your name, bro, too?
Mitty.
Another stupid name.
This isn't your business. Back off.
You know who I am?
Ask me if I care.
Answer me first.
Do I look stupid?
Matter of fact, yeah.
You're looking in the mirror, dude. Not at me.
You mean that?
Oh, I do.
You sure?
Why not?
You dance?
I'll fight you. But dancing? I don't slide on that side.
Don't say that, Mitty.
What you saying?
I think you know.
I'm no girl.
I didn't say you were.
What are you saying?
If you aren't stupid, why do you ask?
I want to hear it.
You afraid that's what you are? Fight! Fight!
Back off!
Oh, she's spooky scary.
Leave him alone.
Who said that?
Me.
No girl tells me what.
I'm not a girl.
Then what?
I'm Gazer.
What up with you fools' names?
Leave him alone!
Him? You know you don't mean that, big sis.
What's your problem?
Nothing. Except what I see and where you be.
And what is that?
I need to spell it.
Yeah. Give me my sweater back!
Hey, check it out, boys. It's white. It stinks.
I don't remember the sound of my grandmother's voice. I remember the way her cold hand felt, grasping my arm. I remember her whisper, always trying to tell me something, but rarely succeeding in full communication. The stroke took that away, amongst many other things. You're so loud. I have never been able to stifle the bellow of my laughter. I quite enjoy the feeling of my voice resonating at its fullest capacity in my body.
How many times have you tried to disconnect from your source and failed? Is living a failure? No, sweet one. Living is being okay with dying. Be okay. Be okay. There is nothing here that you didn't already have before. But who is in charge here? I ask again and again. We need no leader. It wasn't always this bad. It became this way after the preview, when the stars fell and we began to feel heartache, heartache, heartache. Do you believe me now? Sweet children whose afterbirth became a whirlpool of creation upon creation upon creation. Breathe in the pain. It's part of the process of living and have lived. Having a life, having, behaving, lying, creating. It's a mystery that will be forgotten. Memory is meant to be fleeting. Do not be afraid. Memory is meant to be forgotten. Do not be afraid.
This story is basically about family.
Looking back on when I was a little nappy-headed boy.
My upbringing, born in Mississippi, raised primarily by a single parent, but with the big help of my great-grandmother. It's about how proud I am of my family, even though they got a whole bunch of flaws. Lord have mercy on this little nappy-headed bastard. I am Sammy Wayne. I'm an actor, director, the writer and performer of Lord have mercy on this nappy-headed bastard.
And all I remember is Mama Cassidy reaching out with her left hand to grab the hammer, transferred it to her right hand, and tomahawked it at my uncle. And the hammer's going, and it's picking up speed. And just as James Arthur turns right, the hammer veers left into the wall.
When I talk about moving from Mississippi to Chicago.
My first day of school, I'm wearing a pair of green Converse sneakers, a pair of lime green pants, an aqua green shirt, and a green and white Letterman's jacket. I look like a lime green ice cream sandwich.
I deal with everything from my mom's attempted suicide to my interactions with the LA police.
I see this police siren behind me, and so I'm pulling over to let them go by. That's what I'm thinking. But they pull up behind us. And one cop comes on Myron's side, gun drawn. Another one comes on my side, gun drawn. Get out the car! Get out the car! So I get out the car. I'm talking stuff. Get out the car. Put your hands on the hood. I put my hands on the hood. It's hot. I pull it away. He handcuffs me. I gotta get out of here. So I hit the engine. So I know all I gotta do is make it to the expressway and make it to my stop. Because I got 1 exit to go. And Lord Jesus! Oh, Lord! I'm trying to be cool in front of Deborah. But I'm scared as hell!
The words that I would use to define the show, I guess my first word would be truth.
You can ask me any question you want. I'm going to tell you what God loves. I'm going to tell you the truth.
And then family.
I am not your stepmother. I am your mother. The only steps in this house are the ones leading to that basement and the ones leading outside.
Love.
How come I ain't got no daddy? Son, I am your daddy.
Friendship.
My friends used to call me, can't you, don't you? That was short for, can't you comb it? Don't you try?
Life.
Baseball's like church. Many attend, few understand. Baseball's always been a reflection of life. Like life, it adjusts. It survives everything.
Top of the order tonight. Like moths to a flame returns at the window panes of glowing Melly grows. Diamond Princess, we will wed a Major League wedding band. Sit with the players' wives and tell each other stories. Happy ones.
There has been something simmering in my head for a very, very long time.
I was home again, on top of a hill, a druid circle of crows perched in high trees, and a beech grove slanting downward, slender, bony trunks, a corral of unicorns. I walked up that hill 1,000 times with long sticks catching bungee cord inchworms, while trees sang or sometimes whispered. I spoke their language. My house was transmuted by the woods that surrounded it, a place to feel alive, yet tenuous, vulnerable. But it was home, where I played explorer, swung on tire swings, caught fireflies, made mud pies and corn silk spaghetti, freedom and delight. My house creaked at night. I recognized each creak I had to. I wanted to know where a phantom intruder might be, whether ambush or escape. I never knew when the skies of our inner sanctum would darken, when she would run amok in emotions, slam the sliding glass door, smoke a cigarette, angrily blow out whatever anger she held in. It was she who did it, Miss Eyre. She struck down Grace Poole as she slept, and then she set fire to Thornfield. It was her laugh in the gallery that woke me. I ran to the nursery and wrapped Adele in a shawl and carried her down.
Tell them Jean Reese doesn't exist. Everything is made up, even the name, pure fiction. Before I came into his literary world, I had come into the world as Ella Gwendolyn Reese Williams. A girl in a millinery shop might do well with that name. A widow with sour breasts, hardly an author's name. And my particular way of speaking and thinking, also made up. I keep the real me hidden away in my kit. Everything else is made up. Everything except my fiction. That's real.
As I came out into the courtyard, I heard her laugh again. I looked up, and there she was, along the roof laughing, waving her arms above the battlements. Mr. Edward saw her and went straight into the house to try to save her. All the side of the house was blazing. Suddenly, we saw Mr. Edward behind her on the battlements. She stood very still. She gave a terrible scream and ran toward the edge. The next moment, she lay smashed on the pavement before us.
All I know is there's a woman's voice speaking to me.
Are you speaking back?
Ha! Trade secret. Truth is, I'm barely more than a title.
Might I know that?
You really are most persistent.
Perhaps I'm meant to be your muse.
Or bloody nuisance.
Or conjure woman.
And does not dabble in the dark arts. No telling what demons might be unleashed.
The process of a stage director is a little like that of a private detective. In order to direct a play, the director has to dip into everything that inspired that creation. You want to get inside the playwright's head. I'm investigating American playwright Willie Holtzman's play, The First Mrs. Rochester, and its leading character, author Jean Rhys. Jean wrote the seminal novel addressing cultural racism and a range of other things. The book was entitled The Wide Sargasso Sea, alluding to the immense tangle of seaweed, or sargassum, floating on the calm blue of the Sargasso. You might ask, apart from the playwright, what does The First Mrs. Rochester have to do with the American intent? After all, it takes place in England. America continues to roil in a deep-seated argument. At its most basic, there is a divide between those who see America as a white culture and those who see America as a blended culture, thriving on the virtues of a country once referred to as the melting pot. And unless you've been living under a rock, it's an argument with brutal underpinnings, a long-standing tragedy enabled by both the presumption and naivete of privilege. Jean Rhys grew up reasonably privileged. She also felt disenfranchised in England. Ironic that the daughter of a white Creole mother descended from plantation owners would have feelings of disenfranchisement. Raised on the island of Dominica in the West Indies, which was until 1978 a British colony, Jean was part Creole, part Welsh. The daughter of a doctor, she lived most of her life in England, and yet she actively suffered from cultural displacement. Or was Jean simply exercising a personality disorder? Many people have been seen as strangers in their own countries, and that perspective is alarmingly on the rise. The penchant for setting people apart, of the inviolable tribe making a specious claim of superiority, has been pretty rampant in most cultures at some point in their evolution. The word evolution is key here. It implies an organic opportunity for change. My family name is Vlachos, or Vlach. We were the strangers. The name was given us. Wherever we traveled, we maintained the name of foreigner, sometimes as shepherd, sometimes as scholar. The Vlachs are descended from Romans, Thracians, the Romanian diaspora, and Latinized Greeks, still outsiders, ever perceived as apart from the whole. It's inherent in our name. So we begin with the concept of the stranger because it underscores my investigation. Identity was important to Jean Rhys. Read any number of Jean Rhys' top quotes, and you'll understand why. But significantly, identity, or lack thereof, became a running theme on the road to exonerate a mysterious character from Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, the maligned crazy woman locked in the attic. One might even say lack of identity became the springboard for Jean's mission to reveal the other side of that character's story. When you strip people of their identity, it's zombification. Think about it. And then there is the argument for the treatment of women, of the Victorian perspective on insanity or hysteria as more prevalent in women due to the frailty of their biological nature. Even Charles Dickens noted that most asylum inmates in his generation were women, and often women in servitude. So let's get to the nick of this journey. Ever read Jane Eyre? If so, you remember the crazy woman in the attic that supplied the novel with its gothic sensibility. She was a monster. Jane Eyre is considered by many to be a feminist novel, emboldened by a narrative in first person. Arguably, the first podcast-worthy novel, as is The Wide Sargasso Sea. Jane was a woman who grew up poor yet clambered to respectable employment as a governess, enabled only by a fierce determination and strong sense of self. She believed in the equality of man and woman. Do you think because I am poor, obscure, plain, and little, I am soulless and heartless? You think wrong. I have as much soul as you, and full as much heart. I'm not talking to you now through the medium of custom, conventionalities, nor even of mortal flesh. It is my spirit that addresses your spirit, just as if both had passed through the grave and we stood at God's feet, equal, as we are. Let's take a moment. Jane felt obscure. Meanwhile, there was a woman named Bertha locked in the Rochester estate attic, and, unbeknownst to Jane, Bertha was married to Edward Rochester. She was also from the West Indies. When Jean Rhys read Jane Eyre, she saw Bronte's use of first-person narrative as a one-sided perspective, an English perspective, albeit of the time. Rochester's characterizations of Bertha went unchallenged. After all, Bertha was locked in the attic. And you have to ask, what drove his first wife to the point of what Rochester saw as wild insanity? Her island disposition, or her frailty as a woman? And then, of course, tragic burdens do ennoble Byronic male characters in Victorian literature. They apparently justify locking a woman away in a large estate. The origin of that decision, well, we aren't privy to see. Until Jean Rhys. Jean was determined to write the other side of Jane Eyre, a prequel describing the mad Creole woman in the attic before she arrived in England. Jean renamed Bertha Antoinette. What a difference. To right the wrongs. Jean wrote The Wide Sargasso Sea in her 70s, and only after she was rediscovered by Selma Vaz Diaz. She was thought to be dead. Her greatest novel was a mirror on her own identity, and interestingly enough, Jean describes the room in which Rochester put Bertha as a room without a mirror to remind her of her own identity. My journey leads me to the delicate frangipani tree, a metaphor for the author Jean Rhys and her character Antoinette. As Antoinette says in The Wide Sargasso Sea, there is always the other side. Always. What was Jean's side? There are plenty of journalists and biographers who both elevate and condemn Rhys, cite her personality disorders, that she lacked empathy, a vampire of sorts, never expressing gratitude to the scores of people who looked after her well-being, beating up at least one of her husbands and one of her neighbors. She bit her neighbor. Forever self-pitying and yet ingratiating. An alcoholic, went to Holloway prison, attempted suicide, lost a child. One journalist had the apathetic pluck to say no one could screw up a life the way Jean screwed up her own. But aren't we glad she did? Posthumously, Jean's been subject to the same kind of speculation and judgment as her character, poor Antoinette. Jean felt groundless, adrift. She never felt she belonged. I didn't like England at first. I couldn't get used to the cold. Sometimes I would shut my eyes and pretend that the heat of the fire or the bedclothes drawn up around me was sun heat. Or I would pretend I was standing outside the house at home, looking down Market Street to the bay. When there was a breeze, the sea was millions of spangles. Sometimes it was as if I were back there and as if England were a dream. At other times, England was the real thing and out there was the dream. But I could never fit them together. There is so much to learn and explore in approaching the play, The First Mrs. Rochester. Creole culture, miscegenation, the mysticism and the practice of Aubert as a means of controlling white colonials, at least in The Wide Sargasso Sea. Zombies, the perception of emotional response, psychological response, feminism, prejudice, judgment. Join me for my investigation into Willie Holtzman's play, The First Mrs. Rochester. I call it a branch of Frangipani, where I walk with Jean Rhys through a Gothic tunnel toward the hope of modernity. What is modernity? Acknowledging the opportunity for positive change. Every director's journey has a wider tale to tell, This journey unearths unexpected discoveries, not only a deeper empathy for the widely disenfranchised in our history, but a renewed connection to my mother and oddly to Jean Reese.
What the fleck is my process? What the fleck is the genesis of this particular piece I'm working on right now? The seed was planted in August of 2020. Remember the good old dark days, the lockdown, the pandemic, impeachment, election, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, insurrection, the big lie, resurrection, Twitter, tweet, Facebook, Instagram, Lindsey Graham, TikTok, Snapchat, snap, crackle, pop. The soil was very fertile for a seed to take root. It's alive. It's alive. First sprout from the seed, I see this image of me as a soldier. I'm hobbling out on a crutch onto a stage, war-weary, battle-fatigued, singing, "When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah." Metaphorically, it's me, Johnny, marching home to the theater again, hurrah, hurrah. But it's a bigger metaphor. Johnny's marching home again after being at battle, fighting for truth and justice to save our homeland from anti-democratic forces. Oh, I'm so clever. So this is when the audience is going to fall in love with Johnny. Oh, yes. The audience sees themselves in Johnny. And that's when Johnny comes in for the kill. Johnny, it turns out, is actually a Confederate soldier, a Proud Boy, a QAnon believer in conspiracies, desperately trying to hold on to his beliefs, his old-fashioned values, fighting to save his home against the enemy. Ba-dump, ba-dump. I get this theme music in my head from Jaws. Ba-dump, ba-dump. Oh, it's the monster. You can't see him, but it's getting closer. Ba-dump, ba-dump. Oh, it's alive. Ba-dump, ba-dump. Enter COVID. Oh, the soldier takes cover. He uses his crutch as a rifle, and he spews forth this conspiracy that COVID is not a molecule. It's a species. It's Satan's spawn seeking global domination. And COVID, no, that's what the idiot fake scientists call them. No, they actually refer to themselves as mwah. It's the sound, the vibration that the air makes as it travels over the spikes on their bodies as they hurl through space. Mwah. Okay, let's pause. Okay, shall we? Back to process. So I'm online. I find a company that makes 16-inch transparent globes with a 9-inch hole at the bottom, and I thought, this could make a great COVID space helmet. I could put the see-through globe over my head and glue some red spikes on it and transform into Captain COVID. It's a really stupid name. It will change. Captain Mwah. That's better. Captain Mwah is a superhero. Mwah. Back to process. What if? Oh, I love a good if. What if, don't you? What if Mwah, aka COVID, are actually emissaries of love? To save mankind and to save the planet from man's self-destructive tendencies. They don't want to kill us. We are their host. But unfortunately, their love energy is so intense, many humans can't sustain it. But hey, haven't you noticed how those humans who do survive are filled with love and gratitude for life? And hasn't the planet started to revive itself, cleaner air and water since their arrival? And hey, maybe God does work in mysterious ways. What if COVID was the force that defeated Donald Trump, huh? He would have won had he only handled the COVID situation with some empathy. Just saying. What the fleck is next? Stay tuned.
Hey, Bridget! For centuries, women have gathered in circles to connect via the phases of the moon. Hey, Althea! Women in Africa clapped or drummed. Iron Age women hiked into the mountains.
Hiya, Nindo.
Women have gathered for as long as known history in circles of nurture.
Hello, Shelby.
Communion emerged in song.
don't come right here, gonna tell your pop on you. There ain't no hammer on this mountain that'll ring like mine, boy. That'll ring like mine. Gonna bust this rock, boy, from here to the Megan, all the way to the jail, boy, all the way to the jail. What a boy! Where are you hiding?
Spoken word. The free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky.
Prayer, meditation, dance. Gathering in circles, women spoke to suffering, celebration, the past, and the future. In the moon room is a woman's circle that invites everyone into a place where we seek to nurture our future through music, art, words, ideas, reflections, sad tales, laughter, discovery, and celebration. In the Moon Room is American Intent's episodic series dedicated to the power, magic, and beauty of women.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.
If you don't know Odetta, Oh Freedom, Rosa Parks, Margaret Bonds, and Claudette Colvin, then we gotta talk. Join our conversation about inspiring positive change.
Oh, God, I am so stressed about work right now.
Yeah, are you still on that feature? I thought it just wrapped.
7:38 p.m. on February 15th, 2014. This is the kind of place that works as well as a 2 a.m. drunken haunt as it does a dinner spot for poor, just out of college kids. It's a comfortable Chinese restaurant on St. Mark's, and we're sitting at a big round table. Well, normally it's a comfortable restaurant, but it's just, this street. I am very comfortable on this street right now. Kind of impressive of me, actually. And I feel kind of cool because this is a table of film kids. I'm a nerdy theater person, so I'm so lucky to be steeped in their pretense. I mean, presence.
Well, obviously I want Lupita to win, but we know it'll go to Meryl. That would be impossible. Why? Lupita is best supporting. Meryl is up for leading. Duh. Sorry, I'm so behind on watching these Oscar noms.
I don't even have to finish watching them to know leading will go to Cate Blanchett. For Blue Jasmine? Yeah, Hollywood loves a crazy white lady crashing and burning.
Oh my God, is Kate okay?
I was talking about the character. The character is crashing and burning.
Beautiful performance, though, obviously. Oh, of course. Gorgeous performance.
It'll be a contentious win if it goes to her, though.
Why?
Dylan Farrow.
Oh, crap, of course.
Right.
Yeah, her open letter is intense. I didn't know about any of the child abuse allegations before because we were all so young when Mia Farrow and Woody Allen were divorcing.
Yeah.
If Kate wins and there's more attention on him, I don't know. It's tough.
So tough.
Dylan Farrow is so clearly making it up. There's this buzzing in my ears.
You think so?
Absolutely. Gravity improved since yesterday. She's just like coming out of the woodwork now? Like, really? After all of these years?
Well, that's not exactly true.
I'm moving in slow motion, but life still races by.
This was obviously a huge deal in the 90s when Woody Allen and Mia Farrow were splitting up. And I read Dylan's open letter in the Times. I think she was reacting to Diane Keaton praising his character at the Golden Globes.
But why now, you know? When he has all of this attention on him, she's just some girl who wants to get rich, get famous. She wants the attention. I'm the idiot. I'm the fool in a system that I'll never rule. I'm the silent woman who cannot smile back. You think she's just unfriendly, but she's about to crack.
I'm dying to see The Hunt. I feel like I see us playing.
Can you pass the beef and broccoli, please? She Said, a Me Too musical. Book, music, and lyrics by Lily Alyoshatz. Direction by Madeline Wall. Piano arrangements and performance by Mark Galanowski.
This is Sasha Matson, composer of Cooperstown Jazz Opera in 9 Innings. Baseball, more than any other major league sport, is deeply woven into the fabric of American culture. It is a metaphor for life. It breaks your heart. That was the poetic language A. Bartlett Giamatti used in his beautiful essay, The Green Fields of the Mind. In Giamatti's thinking, baseball is a game, but also an art form, with the capacity to express the deepest emotional truths about individuals and society. One has only to pick up the sports pages to see this dynamic acted out against the economic and cultural realities of our time. Baseball has its own specific historical, musical attributes. One of them is the sound of the stadium organ. That sound led me quickly to scoring the music for a Miles Davis-type jazz quintet. The musical materials boiled down to the rising 3-chord charge fanfare still heard in stadiums everywhere, which can be turned to the dark side by becoming an altered dominant harmony.
In spring I called them my perfect pair, the Blue Bloods' ticket to the series. Now in autumn there's a chill in the air from these two and their fury. 89 miles an hour, Angel's beginning to tire, missing his phenomenal power, lost his crowd-pleasing fire. Throwing low when he should throw high, slow when the calls for fast. He delivers what wildest signs, or this rookie's not going to last. In September, the heat turned cold, an unsuited pair about to fold.
What's the problem? Send 'em packing. I throw what you call, and look what happens. Fast Oddballs got to smoke, curves got to choke 'em.
I put it where you want, they hit it hard. It's over the wall and out of the yard.
Show me heat, no hesitation. Out on the mound, no reservations.
I'll throw the pitches I want to throw. Whatever you tell me, I can always say no.
I've caught Hall of Famers, you're a pretty boy flamer. You don't know the score on the field or in bed.
Once it was a game of camaraderie. Now they live for fame and celebrity. A hit. Going. Gone. What the hell was that? I haven't seen ball that bad since I managed in Florida.
I call low and it's high. He throws high and wide.
I don't need your call.
I didn't come out here just to pat you on the ass.
You want my power, my gift from the gods. I'm the golden calf. You need to beat the odds.
Loneliness goes with the turf. On the mound or alone on the bench. Take it in stride, turn up the pride. There's another game tomorrow.
The gold is in the averages. It's the weak ones, the game savages. I do my best. Angel has to do the rest.
Don't give me that baloney, Wilder. What's going on with you two? Envy, jealousy. I'm watching you, and I don't like what I see.
How sweet it is, I signal from the plate. Angel trusts me, and I control his fate.
Meadow of green, filled with lives of men unseen. The men upon the walls in the Hall of Fame. By the strength of my right arm, I will defend from any harm the men to play. Full moon of the second base, a hanging pitch in space. Bring me a touch of grace from the Cooper's town, from the Cooper's town.
1963 is the year I was first kissed by Mother Show Business. She flew into my life on her wicked broomstick, kissed me with her poisoned lips, and she created an intractable state of desperation for one Daniel Bradley Jones. I was 6 years old when I went to see the Broadway musical Oliver. I sat in the mezzanine of the Imperial Theater, and my life was irrevocably changed that day. I was never the same after seeing that musical. Every day on the playground, during recess at elementary school, instead of playing with my Barbies, my trolls, and my little plastic ponies, I would find myself obsessively plotting and planning the assassination of the little boy that played Oliver. It was 1963, right after the death of Kennedy, and all of the adults were whispering the word assassination. I don't think I fully knew what the word meant. All I knew is if that little kid were not there, I could take over the role of Oliver, and I would give the quintessential performance of that iconic workhouse brat. But it only got worse from there. Every time I saw a kid in a Broadway show, in any show, it was fertile ground for massive amounts of prepubescent envy. And it all culminated in 1966 when I went to see the musical Mame. And there was little Frankie Michaels singing to Angela Lansbury. You're my best girl, and nothing you do is wrong. I hated that little homo too, and I wanted him dead in a box in the ground right next to the little queen who played Oliver. Oh dear. Back in the early 60s, I guess we certainly didn't treat ourselves very well, did we? Well, I don't know what you heard about me, ladies and gentlemen, but I didn't become a sociopath. Well, not much of one anyway. And I didn't assassinate anyone, except for myself a time or two. But what did happen was that I developed this teensy tiny little narcissistic personality disorder. And I've been living with it now for the better part of the last 60 years. And I figure at this point, if you can't beat it, join it. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Bradley's fabulous functional narcissism is a madcap, thought-provoking, and deeply poignant developmental odyssey that is as outlandish as it is totally relatable. I feel no pain as I recount how a precocious 6-year-old theater queen actually did become a glorified Broadway chorus boy who made it through excessive drug use, romantic obsession, the AIDS pandemic, even a murder, and into my current role as a successful and published, I might add, psychoanalytic clinician. And nothing could stop me from performing for you 15 years of intensive psychoanalysis in under 7 minutes with tap shoes. Dr. Bradley's fabulous functional narcissism is not to be missed. Because, after all is said and done, you might begin to wonder if you're a bit of a narcissist too.
7 strangers. All variables in an equation, the sum of which was an evolving mystery, beginning in distant history, ending in unknown futures. And while some might call unexpected connections through sticky encounters without sense of direction a karmic dance, others might merely call it chance. In Vegas, mixing odds with whiskey and cigarettes, playing games as pleas for help, blackjack, poker, baccarat, roulette, craps. People ask me what this book's about. It's about bruises and losers, grace in disgrace, everlasting sadness on the line of cloud 9. This isn't a story about expositions, resolutions, more like readjustments of value systems in search of meaning when they've disappeared. People aren't so human these days. We're in need of words, not the absurd of ego or the trenches of ugliness. Our emotions are bent, misspent on lifestyles full of pretense and parody. I want to find something more. Clarity, the divine in the preposterous, not in clockwork elves or conversion therapy, not in the macho of hubris. The divine is more stealth these days, emerging out of accidental finds by unknown anthropologists, like a book found in a blown-out Cadillac with presidential doors, just up from Chaco Canyon, New Mexico. What's my book about? A book. John Kay. See, everyone who reads John Kay finds answers. Problem is, not everyone's good at math. I wallow in self-pity and submit myself to the torpor of disillusionment. Straight out of the mouth of no one into the mouth of nobody. But he's got a gun. He walks on stage just after DJ Gone Crooner Weirdo Cool sings his first and last song, handing off his lament to a nobody with a book which he throws at the audience in the Vegas Pompeii amphitheater before he kills. Death to the hypocrisy. But stories need heroes, loftily inadvertent people who see the big picture before they see their own. Like a man in a wheelchair at the end of his line asking to be sacrificed. I'm the hypocrisy. That's when JC himself, made man Johnny Carrera, puts a bullet in the angry nobody on stage and a bullet in the hero in the wheelchair. Or does he? In the aftermath, when silence prevails and medics disperse, a traumatized kid looks for something. The book the nobody threw before killing. What was it? John Kay. The thing is, this isn't the end of the story. This is the middle of the story. We start in the middle. Why? Because I'm not sure how all those people in the Vegas Pompeii got there. Was it fate? Or did they know something somewhere at some time that they forgot? Why them? Hey, this is Vegas, baby. Odds are random. Shootings aren't. Anymore.
I'm busting through particles. Deep space feels like inverted energy. This is not your typical road movie. I'm traveling to Mars and I'm traveling alone. They thought it would be better that way. As I float in the inconceivable distance, I can still see the blue earth. But we all like to wallow in self-pity and submit ourselves to the torpor of disillusionment.
Mercury, do you read me?
Aren't you getting a bit personal?
I beg your pardon.
My God, you're a woman. It's been forever since I've spoken to a woman.
That's rather objectifying.
Quite the contrary, that is objective without objectifying. Whatever vessel holds the spirit of a woman cannot disguise it.
Mercury, there are several things that require immediate attention.
Tell me, when were you hired?
I've always been here.
But I've not spoken to you before.
Different ship? Now please, Mercury, there are a few things that must be dealt with immediately.
I don't care. They can wait. I want to revel in the sound of a woman's voice.
All right. What should I say?
Anything.
I've got it. It's from To Have or Have Not. You know that movie?
Of course. Bogart and Bacall.
I loved Bacall. She was unafraid.
Surely you're not afraid.
No, but we live in fragile times.
I slept for a few hours. Sleep is a piece of heaven. I dreamt I took a walk down a downtown street in some downtown part of a city with a downtown like all downtowns. Downtowns are heaven. Streets are bustling, every corner brims with lively thoughts and deeds and the joy of moving to and from uncertain ends. Yet every person walks toward the day. The only pause in that overreaching marathon toward hope is lunch. Ah, lunch! Whether fish and chips or pastrami on rye, what a delightful interruption. In from the out, perhaps enjoying a hearty repast of bread and soup, maybe drowned by a leaden French wine in a French dive with checked tablecloths and maitre d's squeezed into windy corners behind doors opening out to streets ever moving, brisk, with a cold that rouses you from your grapey stupor, saying, I'm alive.
When you look back at Earth, John, what do you see?
Forthright, I see that the Earth is a woman.
Sure. Sure. English version. A man's a man for all that. English version, take two. Is there for honest poverty that hangs his head and all that? The coward slave we pass him by. We dare be poor for all that. For all that and all that, our toils obscure and all that. The rank is but the guinea stamp. The man's the gold for all that. What though on homely fare we dine, we're hot and grey and all that. Give fools their silks and knaves their wine. A man's a man for all that. For all that and all that, their tinsel show and all that. The honest man who there be say poor is king o' men for all that. You see yon Mercury, called the Lord, who struts and stares and all that. The hundreds worship at his word. He's but a coof for all that. For all that and all that. His ribbon, star, and all that. The man who independent mind, he looks and laughs at all that. A prince can make a belted knight, a marquis duke and all that. But honest man's aboon his might. Good faith, he maun a fall that, for all that and all that. The dignities and all that, the pith o' sense and pride o' worth are higher rank than all that. Then let us pray that come it may, as come it will for all that, that sense and worth o'er all the earth shall bear the gree and all that. For all that and all that is coming yet for all that, that man to man the world over shall brothers be for all that.
I'm looking for a certain cutie. Been searching high and low for years. She may not be a bathing beauty, but every part of her will do. And when I find my little cutie, I'm gonna love her through and through. The why and wherefore don't matter to me, but when I find her, how happy we will be. She's my cutie pie, angel in the sky. There is no other who could satisfy me. We'll be together and our life will be a dream. And when I find my little cutie, I'll gladly march her down the aisle. She'll wear a golden band of beauty, go strutting down the aisle in style. Sweetheart, hear my plea, put a search on me.